A beginner golfer's first ever putting lesson. Let's do it.
Let's do it now.
In today's video, we have our beginner golfer, Mr. Fox. How are we doing?
Good, thank you.
Very good. And we're doing our first ever putting lesson. I can see that it's not quite gone to plan so far. Tell us a little bit about your experience with putting, because I'm not going to lie, he may well have got the better of me in the past at some form of putting.
I beat James playing crazy golf. That's my claim to fame.
You did, you beat me well as well. I think I might have some clips that I'll put on the screen here now. So, first ever look at putting. And one of the big things obviously is the hardware. What clubs do we use? So you'll see here, guys, that I've given Foxy quite a big putter. This has got a high MOI, quite forgiving. For me, it's probably one of the most forgiving putters you can get. And for me, that's just going to help you a little bit with maybe off-centre hits to start with. And then when you get more into it, we'll look at fitting you for a putter that matches your stroke. I'm sure that means absolutely nothing to you so far.
Diddly.
One of the big things I want you to talk me through is the difference between, this is just a standard 8-iron grip, and talk me through the difference between that and the grip that's on your putter.
Putter grip feels a lot fatter and square.
Perfect. So the putter grip is fatter and square, whereas a standard grip is round. So as we all know, when you hold a normal golf club, we hold it in the fingers. There's a little bit of a teaser for you for your next lesson. We don't hold it in the palms. However, with the square putter grip, it's the opposite way. We don't want it in the fingers, we don't want it moving, twitching around, we want it in the palms of the hands. So that's the first part of the lesson, how we're going to hold it. So you'll see how with the square sides of the grip, we don't want the fingers on there, we want the palms of the hands on there. And then the front side here, we can just sit the thumbs on perfectly. So rest it down on the floor for me and take your grip a little bit. Perfect. And we can see from this angle now that that putter's running through the hands nicely, not necessarily in the tips of the fingers, so that we start with good habits and not bad ones. Okay, mate, so set yourself up to this one. We're going to go to this hole up here, and let's see how you kind of judge to stand at a ball with a putter as opposed to an iron that we've already worked with. Very good, have a go. Not bad, it just ran a little bit too far, but not bad. Okay, so just set yourself up to this one for me. And what we want is feet about shoulder width apart, and rather than having the ball bang in the middle, let's have it a little bit closer to your left foot, so it's just a tiny bit forward of centre, because that's going to help us just get the ball rolling. The idea behind putting isn't to hit the ball, it's to stroke it and just get it rolling as quick as possible towards the target, which is in effect the hole, where I've left that 8-iron strewn all over the place here at Affright Hills.
Well, if you hit that, then we're in.
If you hit that, we're struggling big time, yeah. So here's a few putts, and then we'll go into maybe tweaking you a little bit. Good effort. Foxy's putting with his hands, so he's trying to just flick it a little bit there. What we're going to do, we're going to change his setup and his stance to allow him just to rock those shoulders a little bit more. And remember, these are just pure basics. All we're going to try and do is get the basics in place to create a nice repeatable putting stroke that you can then tweak for different distances and essentially different putts. Okay, so take a little step away for me, put the putter at your place where you want it. Perfect, and ideally this is going to run straight up through the forearms, and from there we're going to be able to rock your shoulders backwards and forwards, and that's what's going to create the stroke, not a little bit of a tweak with the hands. How does that feel?
Feels a bit strange to me because I'm kind of leaning over more, but
looks very nice actually, just looking at how that is. Look at that for angles now. So just rock those shoulders for me to make the stroke. Good, a little bit firm because we're downhill, but we'll cover that later. So let's see if you can get back in that position now. So totally move yourself away, bring a ball in, and let's see if you can recreate that position. Because the big key is when he's obviously practicing at home on his own, because that's what you might be doing, is can you set yourself up over and over again in the same position. That looks good. Again, a little bit firm. We've not worked at aim yet, but the stroke looks good, so go one more for me. As you can see there, all the basics are there, the setup's right, the grip's right, and the stance is now pretty good as well, with the shaft just being an extension of the forearms. But those putts, let's be honest, weren't right good, were they, mate?
Nope.
Because ideally we're going to try and get them a little bit closer from kind of 6 foot to there. So what we're now going to do is set up a little bit of a distance control drill, and we're just going to work on how far back we move the putter in correlation to how far we want the ball to go. So many times when you see beginners, you see high handicappers, you see generally poor putters, they'll try and determine how far the ball goes with how fast to move the putter as opposed to how long the stroke is. And for me, for a beginner golfer, the stroke length idea is a lot more repeatable. If it goes in the hole, brilliant. If it doesn't go in the hole, I want it to finish between the shaft and the hole. Easy enough? Yep. Okay, so their first putt, that was too firm. So what do you feel like maybe you did wrong there?
Probably too far back with the stroke.
So we'll go again. So perfect, and you couldn't write that. I haven't told him to do that, but that's now short. So we need somewhere in that middle ground of how far you've taken the putter back.
Yeah.
So we'll go one more. Perfect. And that's okay. So we'll move on to the next one. What do you feel like we have to do with the putter?
Bring it further away.
Yep. So we're going to create more speed by moving the putter further. Good effort, don't mind that. So now we'll move on to this last one. And again, this is further still. So again, you're going to put maybe ½ an inch on the backstroke. Is that short? Oh, I'm going to say that's short. We're going to do that one again. Good, very good. So we're going to recreate this drill, and I'm going to do it for you now. And as you can see, and all I'm going to do here now is move the putter back maybe an inch further, maybe a couple of inches for every putt that I hit. So this first one's about 4 foot, take it back and through. Distance control's good, move back again. And what I'm actually doing here is I'm using my peripheral vision and thinking how far back I'm taking the putter in regards to my feet. So I might think of a toe, I might think of a shoelace, I might see something on my shoes that helps me with that. So I'm going to take this one back further and then go through. So distance was good and it went in. Come back further still, and we're getting further out here now. We're about 20 feet out. So peripherally, I know that I have to take it outside my right shoe for the distance control that I need. Ah, too much. Thoughts?
Rubbish.
Rubbish. Nice. It still wants to accelerate through, so you don't decelerate, you keep it moving forwards. Got it. Happy?
Yeah, very ecstatic.
Oh. We've already covered stance, we've covered grip, we've covered distance control, ball position, and he's already starting to look a bit like a golfer, which is all thanks to our guys at Par 73 for sorting out the shirt, obviously. But apart from that, what do you feel like you've struggled with so far? Because obviously we had a bit of a mess around before, didn't we? But
definitely.
So finding out kind of how to actually aim. All sports where it's just yourself and your body, it's fairly simple. I'm going to kick it over there, bang, and it's gone. Whereas with golf, obviously, it's very, very difficult to think, well, I've got to line this club up with a ball that lines up with a hole, or does it even align with a hole? Let me explain.
Ooh, they've got arrows on them.
They've got arrows on them and lines on them. And generally, most golf balls will have some kind of line or some kind of writing where it's nice and square that you can use for alignment. We're using the TP5s, so they actually have arrows on them. Some people choose to draw lines on, that's fine as well. But we're going to use the lines on the golf ball to aim at, actually to aim away from the hole. Have I lost you?
Nope.
Now I want you to aim that ball at the hole for me and then have a go at putting it. So by aiming it at the hole, we're going to use the line on the ball straight towards the hole, and then obviously, and then from there, line up the line on the putter. Now just hit it at the hole for me where you've aimed it. Not a bad putt that. Why did it go right?
Sloping away.
Exactly, and you'll see here, guys, that I'm asking a lot of questions. I'm not necessarily just telling you things. Obviously, when you do learn things, it does kind of help just to maybe figure them out on your own. You're not daft. You can see that there's a great big slope there, so if I aim the golf ball at the hole, it's not going to go at the hole. But sometimes it's nice just to double check things like that in case you don't see them. So where do we need to line that ball up towards this hole?
Sloping down to the right, so we want to be aiming a bit to the bit to the left.
So just outside that left. And one of the big things is finding yourself a process when you're putting. So lining it up is the first part of the process, or the first stage. Second stage is lining the club up to the ball. Then once you've done that, you're in your own little kind of world, and all you're thinking about is distance control. Has he got it? Oh, great effort. Great effort. Can you section it off into little segments? First one's going to be the read, second one's going to be the line up, third one is going to be lining the putter up to the ball that's lined up. Say line up more, then from there all you're going to focus on is that distance control, and hopefully you make a few. Let's try a different one. See any break in this one?
Yeah, it's going down to the left, so I'm aiming right this time.
Looks really good, mate. Now ball could move forward maybe half an inch in your stance.
Yeah.
No, the other way, sorry, so move towards me.
Oh,
there you go, yeah. So there, because we've started talking about alignment and aim, you've just totally forgot about the pace.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, loads of people will say that does happen if you focus too much on the line. Okay, so now we've looked at stance, we've looked at grip, we've looked at setup, we've looked at green reading a little bit. There's one big thing as well where gradient plays a huge role, uphill, downhill. So for example, this putt here, down to this hole, obviously it's about 10 feet, but it's playing a little bit downhill. So obviously what do you feel like you're going to do to your stroke to then accommodate the downhill, the slope?
Maybe a shorter stroke.
Exactly that, shorter stroke. The ball is going to pick up more speed on the way down the hill, so it doesn't need the speed. But also, so what I want you to do, going down the hill here, I want you to aim where you would normally aim. So obviously you know it's going to break a little bit that way, but then I want you to hit it nice and firm. If it finishes, it can finish down near me. Perfect. So you see there how, because you hit it so firm, it was on the right line, but it didn't break, it didn't move. So speed also plays a huge role in how far the ball will move on the undulation on the green. If you hit it too firm, it's not going to take the break, it's going to go straight through. Obviously that was way too firm. Now I want you to aim at the same place. I want you to hit it nice and soft. So you can see there he's aimed at the same place, but because it didn't have the speed, it's actually missed on the other side of the hole. So that just goes to show that distance control when putting is absolutely paramount. That's why we spend so much time on it. So as long as you've got all the fundamentals in place, which I feel like now Foxy has, that has been his first ever putting lesson, apart from beating me on mini golf.
Don't know how.
I don't know, but looking at that, I don't know how either. But guys, make sure you do stay tuned to this beginner content. We have 6 months to get Mr. Fox to break 100 in Dubai. We're not exactly sure which course yet. I've got a few inklings, but make sure you check out the driver video, make sure you check out the iron video, the lesson video. There's loads of beginner content coming your way, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Thank you very much, Mr. Fox. I hope you've enjoyed that putting lesson.
Lovely.
We are also going to have a proper putting lesson. We're going to have a much more in-depth putting lesson with Chris Dennis, who I have my putting lessons with, who is a European Tour coach. So you can learn a lot more about putting there as well. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed that. That has been a beginner golfer's first ever putting lesson. If you have enjoyed that, please make sure you do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave us a like if you enjoyed that content, and as always, have you got one? We'll see you tomorrow.